Hello everyone, today I'm doing a deck profile on my Jackknife deck. With the new set Blazing Over Clash, the Jackknife deck has received a lot of support, which makes them incredibly powerful and can rush very well. Without further ado, let's get this started. So the buddy we run is Nova Guardian Jackknife. So its effect is call this sorry, let me just adjust the camera. Damn it. Cost put it on top of a monster on your field and pay 2 gauge. When this card enters the field by card effects, drop the top 4 cards of your deck, put up to 1 from among them to your hand, and put the rest into your card's soul. And counteract, drop a soul from this card. If you do, for this turn, this card gets triple attack and counter attack. Yes, move and soul. So basically, if you call it by effect, you can basically check the top 4 and any card to hand, and the rest go to its soul, so it gets 3 souls in one shot. And dropping a soul, you can gain triple attack with, alongside some of the Dragon of this set, can make the triple attack deal even more damage. So yeah, without further ado. First up, Jackknife. We run 4 copies of the new Star Guardian Jackknife. Jackknife Full Wing. Cost, put this card on top of a monster and pay 1 gauge. Counteract, Enhancer. During each player's attack phase, draw a card. Then call up to 1 monster with Jackknife and discard name from your hand on top of this card without paying its core cost. You only use this ability once per turn. It has move and double attack and soul guard. So basically this lets you just draw 1 card, and you can draw up to 1 Jackknife on top, such as this one, for free, so you can get the effect. And you can also just draw and not have to call anything, so it's also good for increasing your hand. So yeah, 4 copies. Next up, we play 3 copies of the new Overturn Jackknife, Thunder Dragoner, Jackknife Overload. If call they put this card on top of a monster on your field and pay 1 gauge. If this card is on your field or in the soul of a Neo Dragon, souls in all cards on your field cannot be dropped by your bonus card effect. So it prevents cards like Dragotvar and Loyalty from removing your soul. It's Overturn. During each player's attack phase, drop a hand card. Go up to 1 monster with Jackknife and discard name from your deck on top of this card without paying its core cost, and shuffle your deck, and it has soul guard. So basically you can Overturn, and you can superior call any Jackknife from your deck, such as maybe this one or this one, which since it ended by card effects, you can also gain the skill. And it also prevents soul from being dropped, which is very handy. Next up, 3 copies of the buddy, Nova Guardian Jackknife. Next up, we play 2 copies of Galaxy Dragoner Jackknife. Cost, pay 1 gauge, put a card from your drop zone into this card soul. Counteract, during your turn, call a monster with Jackknife and discard name from your drop zone on top of this card without paying its core cost. Use this ability once per turn. So this lets you superior call something on top, such as any of the Jackknives. And if you call this, well, you get the effect as well. So all these can combo with the buddy quite well. That's all for the Jackknives. Moving on to our only non-Dragon Arm size one. Play 3 copies of Hyper Rainbow Vision Shadow Scare. If an originally size 2 greater Neo Dragon monster is on your field, this card on the field gets size reduced by 1, so it becomes a size 0. And it has its ability, when a soul enters your Neo Dragon, look at the top 3 cards of the deck, put 1 from among them to your gauge, 1 among them to your hand, then put the rest in the drop zone or into the soul of a monster on your field. You only use this ability once per turn. So it's great as it becomes a size 0, so some of the size 1 Dragon Arms can be caught without sending this to the drop zone. And you add a soul, you can essentially look at top 3, add cards to your hand, and even get cards to your soul. So it's very useful. Okay, moving on to the Dragon Arms. 2 copies of Biggest Dragon Arms Triple Buster. If this card is in the soul of a Neo Dragon, that card gets 3000 power, critical +1, and penetrate. So this is just to increase your attack power, so you can finish games quicker. Next up, 2 copies of the promo Biggest Dragon Arms Chaos Triple Buster. Act, put this card from your hand or field into the soul of another Neo Dragon or Chaos, so just point your Neo Dragon directly. And if this card is in the soul of a monster, all monsters on each player's field cannot return to hand, so this is quite useful. At the start of each player attack phase, if this card is in the soul of a monster, destroy up to 1 card on your bonus field. So every start attack phase you can destroy a card, and it prevents monster from being returned, which can help you quite nicely. It also stops some decks such as Angel Dragons and Conan, the Black Organization deck, so it's quite a useful card. Next up, we run 3 copies of Jack Arms J Avalanche. If this card is in the soul of a Neo Dragon with Jackknife in this card name, that card gets 2000 power and 2000 defense. When this card enters the field, if a card with Jackknife is in this card name is on your field, choose and use one of the following 2. Put the top card of the deck into your gauge and you gain 1 life, or draw a card. So basically this increases your Jackknife power and defense. and it lets you draw cards or increase your gauge. So yeah, 3 copies. Next up, we have 3 copies of Jackknife. When this card is put from your field, deck, or drop zone into the soul of a monster with Jackknife, in this card name, put the top card of the deck into your gauge and you gain 1 life. Counteract, choose a card on your bonus field. You may drop this card from the soul of a Neo Dragon. If you do, press the chosen card. So this can help you stop your bonus attacks, which is nice. Next up, 2 copies of Dragon Arms Gaia Fang. Act, put this hand card into the soul of a monster on your field, so you can just send this to your soul directly. And in this card in the soul of a Neo Dragon, all cards on your field gain 2000 power for each soul in cards on your field. Abilities of Neo Dragon with this card in his soul, and abilities of all souls in those Neo Dragons cannot be notified. So basically, you add this to your Jackknife soul, your whole field gains power equal to the number of souls. So this helps you break down walls quite easily. Next up, 2 copies of Dragon Arms Silk Fighter. When this card enters the field, if you have a Neo Dragon with 1 or more soul on your field, put the top card of the deck in your gauge. And counteract, you may put this card on the soul of a Neo Dragon on your field into your drop zone. If you do, the next time damage will be dealt to you for this turn is reduced by 0. So basically, you can just stop 1 attack, which is nice. Next, play 1 copy of Dragon Arms Debris Sweeper. If this card is the soul of a Neo Dragon, your opponent cannot call monsters from his or her drop zone. So this can stop some decks. And when your Neo Dragon with this card is so attacks, you may put a card on your opponent's drop zone on the bottom of the deck. So why this is useful is sometimes you side certain decks that like to call card to drop zone. With the Jackknife attack, you can send that card to drop zone, ruining some plays that they want to do. So yeah. Next, we play 1 copy of Dragon Arms Garble Anchor. When your opponent casts a spell, you may put this card from the soul of your Neo Dragon into the drop zone and pay 1 gauge and pay 1 life. If you do, nullify the spell cast by your opponent. It's just a spell now, quite useful, standard. Next, we play finally 2 copies of Dragon Arms Mayday. Counteract, help call. If this card in the soul of a Neo Dragon, you may call up to 1 size 2 or less Neo Dragon from your hand by paying its call cost. You only cost use the ability once per turn. So this lets you gain extra attacks. You can use offensively and defensively. So it's pretty good. Now moving on to the spells. Play 2 copies of Iris Lilac. You only cast this card during your turn. Cast cost, drop a soul from a card on your field. Counter, look at the top 3 cards of the deck. Put up to 1 among them to your hand and the rest to the gauge. You only cast this once per turn. So it's the top 3 and the rest to gauge. Pretty useful. Next up, 3 copies of Star Believer. Cast cost, put a soul from a card on your field into the drop zone. You gain 1 life and draw 2 cards. You only cast this card once per turn. So basically, your draw 2 engine. Yeah. Next up, 3 copies of Star Bright Soul. Cast cost, pay 1 life. Choose and use the following 2. You only cast this card once per turn. Put up to 1 item with release condition from your deck into your hand and shuffle your deck. Or put up to a total of 2 Dragon Arm and monsters with Jackknife and his card name from your drop zone into your hand. So basically, you can either search a deck for the release condition item, which we play the new one in this deck, or you can take Jackknife and Dragon Arm from the drop zone. So yeah, just pretty nice. Next up, 2 copies of Starjack Revival. Cast cost, drop a soul from a card with Jackknife and his card name on your field and drop a hand card. Counter, choose and use one of the following 2. You only cast this card once per fight. Counter, for this turn, all monsters with Jackknife and his card name on your field cannot be destroyed or leave the field due to your bonus cards. Or until the start of your bonus next turn, you cannot lose the fight. So this is pretty good at helping you survive a turn. Yeah, pretty good. Next up, 2 copies of Starjack Docking. You only cast this card during an attack on your bonus turn, and if you do not have a monster in your center. Cast cost, pay 1 gauge, counter, notify the attack, and put up to 1 card from your drop zone into the soul of a Neo Dragon on your field. So notify the attack and get 1 soul back. So let's say cards like the one that rests cards will reduce damage, you can gain them back as well. So it's pretty nice. Then we play 1 copy of Heavenly Crystal Awakening. You only cast this card if you use overturn this game. Counter, put the top 3 cards deck into your gauge and draw 3 cards. Not just once per turn, once per game. So yeah, it's just if you haven't used overturn, you can use this to increase your hand and gauge. Finally, moving on to the items, we play 2 copies of Dragon Force Style of Future. So it has a release condition. A Neo Dragon with Jackknife in his card name has 2 or more Dragon Arms in his soul on your field. So just have Jackknife get 2 Dragon Arms, which is quite easy, and you can equip this item directly, no gauge cost. This card on the field cannot be destroyed, return to hand, and its abilities cannot be notified. And counteract, during each player's attack phase, choose a Neo Dragon on your field, and put up to 1 Dragon Arm from your hand or deck into the soul of a chosen card. If you look in your deck, shuffle it. Use ability once per turn. So this is quite useful as lets you toolbox into any dragon arm you like. So let's say you want to stop a certain spell, you can get the Gabble Anchor, or if you want to rest your cards, you can use this. It's very flexible, so it's a pretty good card, and it has also a double attack, so it's a 3-crit double attacker. Nice. Next up, moving on to impact cards, we play first of all 2 copies of the impact monster, Jackknife Genetic Battle Razor. The gauge cost of this card is cost reduced by 3 if you use Overturn during this game. Call cost, put this card on top of a new dragon monster and put a card from your drop zone into this card store and pay 3 gauge. When this card enters the field, put up to 1 card from your deck into this card store and shuffle your deck. And it has Soul Guard. So this is just let you extra attack. Really nice. Finally, 2 copies of the new impact, Stardust Shining Punisher. You only card this card, your opponent's life is 5 life or less. A monster with Jackknife and this card name is on your view, and you have an item with release condition equipped. Counter just deal 5 damage to your opponent. This card cannot be notified and its damage cannot be reduced. If your opponent's life becomes 0, it cannot be changed with the card, so it can't be buy. So what's good is it's a free Deity Gargantua Punisher. So it's very easy to use, and you can actually FTK with this deck if you like. So example for, let's say you have something like this, then 2 of the Dragon Arms happen to be in its soul, or at least 1 of them is. Then you have the release condition item equipped. So all you need to do is just counter, put a card from your deck into the soul, your other dragon arm to your soul. Then you just attack for 5. Then you can just finish them with this. So it's a quick and easy way to FTK. First turn kill, quite effective. That's all for my Jackknife deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be making some more in the future. I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.